Hey guys, in this video we are going to learn how can you design a chat interface. A chat interface generally will have two important things. One is a display text, the other one is the input text where the user will type. And then you hit on the send button, the text which the user has typed has to go to the display text, right? So that is how a chat window generally works. So how to design this interface end to end we are going to learn in this video. So why delay? Let's get started. Before we get started, let's see some of the important components of the chat app we are going to design today. First is it has got a header with a title saying my chat app. It could be anything that you would like to keep it here. Then there is a section for display text. When you're typing something, for example, I'm typing hello, how are you? So when I'm typing something, this is the display text. When you hit on send, so this becomes your display text and the bot is replying, I'm doing good, thanks. Okay, so this is the display text. Now this display text should not allow you to type. You see it is disabled. I cannot type, but I can only type it here. This is the input text and there is a send button. So these are the couple of components you need to keep in mind while we start designing. Alright, so let's get started. Let's write the very first thing is the required library. I'm going to teach you a different way so that you don't have to take the library name while you are coding. Let's say the tkinter is the library. You have to say tkinter.tk. You don't have to write or take the name of the library several times. Now to avoid that, this is the way you can write. From tkinter import star. Okay, this is another way of writing. Instead of saying import tkinter, you can also say from tkinter import star. This helps you not to take the name tkinter several times in your code. Okay, so that is the benefit. Now the other thing that we need from the tkinter is the scrolled text. Okay, these are the two things that we need. Now let's start designing the app, which is root equals to, and I'm going to use the tk method. You remember initially we used to write tkinter.tk. Now it is simple. Now I'm going to say root dot main loop. Okay, so we are done. Now let us set some geometry of the app and the title of the app, of course. So let's say root dot title, and in this I'm going to say my chat app. This is the title of the app, and then I'm also going to set the geometry of the app. Generally I keep it to 500 x 600. Okay, so that's all. Now let us run it and see how the app is actually behaving, and then we'll start designing the next set of things. So you can see this is how it has come. It has come a pretty blank window. Now the very first thing that I want, if you remember, the very first thing was header. So let us create some space here and start writing the code. Now the very first thing is header. So I will say app header variable equals to, for header we will be using label class from tkinter, and I'm going to keep it inside the root. And you also need a title for that. For that I'll use the text parameter, and I'm going to say my chat app. And you saw that text was in white in color and the background of that was in blue in color. So for that there's something called background color. For background bg, background color I would like to keep, let's say, dark blue, and the foreground color of the text, the foreground means the text color, the foreground color I would like to keep it white. Simple. Okay, done. Now let's do app header dot pack. Now here I'll show you a couple of things. Now if I run this, what is happening? See, this is how it is appearing, right? So the first thing is I will have to have some proper font size given to it, right? So let's do that. So the very first thing is let's have a font size. Now for the font, I have taught you this font equals to, I'm going to say Georgia, yep, and then comma 24. Fine. Now there are a couple of things. Okay, when you want to expand, let's say somebody wants in a bigger screen, smaller screen, right? For that there is an important command or important parameters that you need to remember is the fill parameter. Okay, fill equals to I want to fill that in the x-axis, not entirely in the y-axis, just the x-axis, and then I have to write with this one. So this has to be coupled with expand parameter. Okay, fill parameter has to be coupled with expand parameter. Now I'll show you what is the benefit of this. If I run it, now you can see the header has actually come in the center of the app, but don't worry, once we start adding the display text, input text, it will take its own place. So now you can see it has expanded in the x-axis. Okay, that's why I said fill x and then I say expand equals to true. Okay, these are the coupled parameters that you need to always remember. So my chat app, so this is fine. Now the next thing, let's start designing it. Now after this, the next thing that I need is a display text. So I will say display text equals to, now display text requires couple of things. It has to be a scroll text. You should be able to scroll it, right? So I am saying scroll text dot scroll text class, and I would like to keep it in the root. Then the next important thing is I want to keep it disabled, right? So it is called state. State is equal to disabled, comma, and then it will stay in the root. The state is disabled, and what else you want? And the text wrapping. Okay, text wrapping also very important. When somebody is typing hello, if it is there at the corner of the text, the HEL will come on the first line and the LLO will come in the second. We don't want that. We want the words to be properly wrapped. So that's why this is also one of the important parameter. Couple of important parameter that you need. Okay, now let's pack it. Display text dot pack, and then I'm going to pack it as fill and pack it both. It's almost this same commands we have to repeat. Done. Now after the display text we have something called input text. You remember input text is equal to, again we'll use the scrolled text module, and then scroll text class. Same thing, you need to just repeat all of this. State, here the state will remain normal. We don't have to disable because user need to enter it here, right? So I don't want to make it have that state parameter, but I need to have this wrap parameter is equals to word. Okay, and then let's input text dot pack. All of this parameters, how do you really remember? By practicing. That is a simple way. Otherwise, just by doing it for one day, you may not. Keep doing many exercises which are coming. There you would get similar kind of things. So you keep practicing, it will automatically come in your fingertips. Okay, then comma. Anyways, my videos will be there on YouTube. Let's say something you forgot, you can always come back and see it. Okay, true. Now let's see if how this one is responding. Okay, let me run it. Now if you see the input text here, this is disabled, the upper one is disabled, I'm not able to type, but here below it has got a pretty big height. I want to slightly reduce the height. Now how do I reduce the height? There is a parameter for this. So see, so many new things you are learning. So the parameter is height equals to, let me keep some 3. Okay, 3. Let's see how it is coming. You can adjust accordingly. So you can see it has come like this. So this looks fine for input. Now below this, what I need a send button where user can hit on send. So how do I create it? I'll say send button variable, and then because this is a button, so I'll use techinter.button. So simply I'm not using techinter library multiple times. I'm simply taking the class name. So this becomes quite easy. So I said button, and this button has to be in the root, and I need to have some text in the button, right? So I'll say send. Okay, send. What else you need? You need some font for the button. Let's do that. Font, and I'm going to say Georgia, GEO. I think this is the spelling. Okay, Georgia, comma. Let's keep it to 10. Done. Now let's use the send button. Send button dot pack, and here I don't want to do anything with this. I mean, I don't want to fill it. Let it be a small button. So I'll leave it as it is. So our code is almost done for the interface. Now how do you make it functional is another part of this. Okay, so let me run this. Let's see what is wrong, then we can recorrect it. Okay, okay, so here you can see the send button has appeared. Now the question here is, the moment I am typing something, let's say I typed hello. Now how will you carry this hello to the top, to the display? That is the main. Only when user is hitting on send, that time you should copy whatever it is typed, it should copy everything and should take it to the top. So how to do that? Now for that it is quite simple. Now here in the send button, right, in the send button we have to create a call a function. So have we created a function? Not yet. We will create the function. Let me define a name. I am saying function send text. Okay, this is the function name, function send text. Now with this name, let us create a function on the top. So what would happen anytime somebody is clicking on it, this function will be called from the top. So I'm saying define, I'll just copy paste that, and parenthesis and colon. Simple. This is how you define your function. Pretty simple. Here I have to get the text. Now the text will be there in the input text field, right, where the user is typing. This is nothing but this one. Here it should pick that data and show it in the display text. That is the aim. Okay. Now for that, first of all, let me create a variable to get that user input what he has typed. So I'm creating a variable called user input equals to, the input is actually there in the input text, right? Input text is nothing but this one, the scroll text, the bottom one. It is there inside this. So there is a function available called, there is a method available called get. So I'm saying get, and here there is a trick. Remember, from a normal single line text box, you can simply say dot get and it will get it. Here there is a little bit of trick involved. What is the trick? Here I am saying you start, let's say user is typing multiple lines, hello, then he's saying how are you. Okay, now we are saying how many lines he has typed doesn't matter, because it's scroll text, he can type multiple lines of text, right? It will allow him to type multiple lines of text by hitting on enter. Now I wanted to start from the very first line till the end. Very first line, very first character. From there it should start. Now the very first line denoted by the number 1, and the very first character you put a dot, and the very first character starts from 0th index. Okay, the meaning of this 1 is line and 0 is character. Very first line, very first character. Getting it? So I'll show you what, how this one is working. Now and till the end. Till the end. Okay, now let me print it and show you how it is really working, then we will proceed further. User input, and let me run this. Okay, it has come. Let me say hello, how are you. Okay, so there are 2 lines of text I'm entering, and I'm going to hit on send. Now I'm not going to display here, I'm just printing it. Okay, so you can see hello, how are you has come. What if I'm going to say 2.0? What I'm saying 2.0, and I'm going to run it, and I'm going to type the same thing. Okay, did I copy it? No, I did not copy it. So I'm say hello, how are you. Let me copy this so that we can reuse it. Copy. Now here I said to second line from the first index. So what would happen? The output here, look at it, the output in the Python, it is saying how are you. Getting it? So 2 means second line from 0th index. Now what would happen if I'm saying first index? If I run it now, let me rerun it. Okay, it has come. Now let me copy paste the same thing. Now I'm saying 2 and 1. Okay, so the second line, and from here it should show me. Do you see H did not come, OWIU it is coming. So that is the meaning. But here, so you understood how it is working. Now we will get back. I want from the first line and from the very first character, right? Simple. Done. So we don't need to print it here. We have to show it in the display text. Now display text is what? Disabled. Yes or no? Display text is, initially it is disabled, so that it doesn't allow user to type it on the display text. It is disabled. So how do we enable it? Okay, to enable this, first of all you take the name of the that variable display text. dot, there is something called config. What is it? Config. Now this, I am going to change the state to normal. So it was disabled, right? So I am saying normal. So disabled is not coupled with enable. Okay, don't type enable, it is normal. Normal means it will enable itself. So config is normal. Now it will allow only when the user hits on send button, then it will become enable for few milliseconds and then it will do its job and come out. Okay, so here see, config state is equal to normal, and in this one I would like to enter what? The user input. Here we are getting the user input, right? So I want to enter it there. Now to enter into what? Display text, there's another method that you need to remember is insert. Insert, and then what exactly you would like to insert and how you would like to insert. There are two different things. Now where would you like to, because there could be multiple lines of text, right? If it's typing continuously in the chat app, there will be multiple lines of text. So it should always enter at the end of the previous text. So you are saying end, comma, u, what the user is typing. So I'm saying u plus, I'll give a plus sign, and then here I am going to use the variable user input, which contains that actual text here, right? User input. This one contains the actual text. Okay, done. Looks good. Okay, fine. Now after that, let's the bot wants to reply something. So again the same thing, display text variable dot insert. Let's say the bot would like to reply. Again it will reply at the end. So I'll say end. You getting it? We are simply designing a bot now. So bot, give a little space. You can use a variable instead of a hard-coded value. So here I'm simply putting a hard-coded value. I'm saying I'm doing good, thank you. I'm doing good. Nobody asked that to a bot, but just for knowledge purpose I'm saying. Okay, so bot, I'm doing good, thanks. And then after this I would like to really give a little space, a new line, right? So I'll say plus double quote, and I'm going to say slash m. Okay, done. So I'm entering both the text, and once you enter, there are two things remain. What you need to first disable this, right? Which you said normal. Now I'll copy paste this, and instead of this normal I will say disable it again. Okay, so it is disabled. Now I also need to clear the input text what the user has entered. So the input text is this dot delete. I would like to delete everything, right? So I'll say delete. Okay, now delete what? Delete everything, right? So again I'll copy here whatever the text was there, how we got it, same way we will delete it. So I'll simply mention this. So that way it is going to delete entire text that is present inside the input box. Okay, so let's see, it's pretty simple. This has to be configured a lot many things, but one step you need to learn. Okay, you can't learn everything at a single point because you will not have proper understanding. So if you see my videos, I'm teaching step by step, step by step. We are repeating the code several times so that it becomes quite easy and it will become very familiar. It will automatically come in your fingertips. So that's why you will see in the previous video what we have seen. Same thing we are also doing it here with bit of changes. Okay, so let's see if this one is working or not. Let me run it. Okay, now the very first thing I want to do is I'll say hello. Let me type it in a single line, how are you? Because we have hard coded, it's simply going to respond to the same thing several times. So send. So you can see you, hello, how are you? I'm doing good, thanks. Let me say it again. Hello, how are you? And if I'm hitting on send, you can see it is just sending the text one below the other, which looks pretty fine to us. Now there are a lot of modifications can be done. Let's say I would like to change this color of this. When you are typing, it should come in blue in color. When the bot is typing, it should come in, let's say, green in color, so that there's a difference between you and the bot when it is replying, right? Even those things can be implemented. How to do that I can show you in the upcoming video. So now you have learned how to design this entire button functional interface. It's a functional interface. Of course there are a lot many improvements has to be done, but again still it's a functional interface to start. So thank you guys for watching. We're going to meet once again in our next content. Till then, take care.